Hi friends, it's Liv and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, I'm Liv. It's nice to meet you. Happy November. I cannot believe October has come and gone, and now we're really close to the end of the year, which is insane. Sweater weather has begun. It's still really hot outside here, so I am boiling, but it's November and it's an end of October themed video, so we're just gonna roll with it. Today's video is my October wrap up, which I got 8 books done in October, which I'm very pleased with. Some of these were really good, a couple weren't the best, but still enjoyed myself. So if you'd like to know what books I read in the month of October, just keep on watching. Okay, so the first book I'm going to talk about today is Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, which is book 2 in the Infernal Devices trilogy, which is the prequel to The Mortal Instruments, all about the old-timey shadow hunters in England, and I am here for it. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. The world building, kind of expanding on what we already knew from The Mortal Instruments and getting to know all these characters who are kind of like they're the ancestors of some of the characters in The Mortal Instruments, so I really enjoyed getting to kind of learn about them, seeing the family histories and how some families that get along really well now might not have gotten along so great back in the 1800s. Getting to read Tessa Gem-Will's story has been absolutely incredible, and I'm so ready to finish Clockwork Princess, which is one of the books I'm currently reading, and then get back into the world of The Mortal Instruments. That, like, it's the shadow hunters we already knew and loved, and so I'm excited to see how these books kind of impact that storyline. But all in all, this was a solid read and a great way to kick off October. The next book I'm going to talk about today is a personal favorite of mine from the month of October, and it is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer. I also gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars because this was great. So this story follows Magnus, who is a homeless teen living on the streets of Boston, and basically the story begins with Magnus dying. So Magnus dies and goes to the afterlife of Valhalla, which is like the Norse kind of heaven, and it's all of the heroes and warriors training for Ragnarok. And Magnus doesn't feel like he belongs, and he is the son of a Norse god that a lot of the people in Valhalla don't really pray to, don't really like, so he feels like an outsider. But then all heck breaks loose, and Magnus and his friends need to stop Ragnarok. I love the different characters in here. There's a lot of diversity. Rick Riordan is really good with diversity in his writing. He has so many different characters, and they all have their own backstories. Like, for example, in this one, we see a deaf character and a Muslim character, and she wears a hijab. So it's really interesting just to see like the different levels of diversity that Rick likes to play with in his writing and how all of these characters kind of interact. They have the best dynamics, and I am so here for it. I am so ready to pick up book 2 as soon as I finish the second Trials of Apollo book, because I know that one comes first. But all in all, super solid read, super excited to continue this series. And speaking of the Trials of Apollo, my third book I have for you here is the first book in the Trials of Apollo series, which is The Hidden Oracle, also by Rick Riordan. If you don't know what this book is about, basically Apollo angered his father Zeus, and to get back at him, Zeus turned Apollo into a mortal. I went into this thinking that Apollo was turned into a demigod, so I figured he'd have like kind of some sort of semblance of what he once was, but no, he's completely mortal. He cannot do the things that he was able to do as a god, but he still maintains that cocky sort of, I'm Apollo, I am so wonderful, and it's absolutely hilarious. I also gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. We are introduced to so many new characters in Rick's world and like the Camp Half-Blood world, but we also get to see some old faves, which is wonderful because like I love when like Percy pops up and I'm like, what's up, dude? Percy, again, he's been a favorite character of mine for literally 11 years now. Like, he's been one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, and so I love that his world is still expanding and growing, and I'm really excited to see where this takes us. Okay, so books 4 and 5 are a couple that you probably knew this was coming, but it is Two Dark Reigns and Five Dark Fates, both by Kendar Blake. These are books 3 and 4 in the Three Dark Crown series, which is about a matriarchal society on this island of Fenburn, where 3 triplets are born every generation from this goddess that they all like worship and pray to. And these triplets are raised together until the age of 6, and then they are separated into respective families. and when they reach the age of 16, they have to basically fight to the death, and the last one standing gets the crown. And among them there is a naturalist, a poisoner, and an elementalist. If you watch me, you know that I am absolutely obsessed with this series, and these last 2 books completely blew my mind. This was not the ending that I was expecting, but it's the ending that I was actually pretty satisfied by. I gave both of these books 5 out of 5 stars. They are in no means perfect books. The 5-star rating was really kind of how they made me feel. Like, these were books that I could not put down, could not get out of my head, and for me that kind of constitutes a 5-star rating. Writing was really good. I really enjoy Kendra Blake's writing. I think she's really great at what she does. A couple of the scenes I might have tweaked just a little bit. Not gonna name anything here because obviously I don't want to spoil it for you guys, because I want you all to read this for yourselves. It is so wonderful, you guys. I cannot stress that enough. So wonderful. So definitely some of my favorites, but I was really happy with the way it ended. I know there's a novella book that I need to read, but then like once I have that done, I know that like this series will be completely like over for me, and I'm not ready to say goodbye to this world because I really don't know what to do with my life now that this series is done. It's so bad. The obsession is real. It's real. So the next book was one that's a little out of my comfort zone, but it was part of the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge that I've been doing this year. But this book is the first volume to My Hero Academia, which I think is about like a society where like they all have like superpowers, and one of like, I think the main character doesn't have any powers, but he's attempting to get into like the prestigious school in town, which I think is what this is about. I know there's a lot of manga fans out there, and I know that this is like a super beloved series in that community, so don't come for me, but I actually only gave this book a 2 out of 5 stars. I found myself really confused the whole time. Not to say that I didn't enjoy the experience, because like getting to read a book like from like back to front was super interesting and something that I'm definitely not used to. It was a really cool experience. I just found myself really confused the whole time, and I didn't like a lot of the characters, but you know, 2 stars I guess more for personal preference and the confusion. But if you are a manga fan, then this is probably a series that you will enjoy if you have not read already. And the next book, I'm sure if you watch my videos, you have all been waiting for me to finish, but it is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I finally did the dang thing. Honestly, one day I picked up this book. I was already on like page like 75, but I literally read from page 75 to the end. I got super into this. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. This book is about I don't know how to explain it. So it's about this girl named Alina, and she is a map maker, and she grew up as an orphan with her best friend Mal, who she's like low-key in love with, but like apparently he's a ladies' man, so like probably every girl in the fold is in love with Mal. And their camp is kind of attacked, and during the attack she finds out that she has this power that she didn't know she had before, that she's a sun summoner. So she's taken into the world of the Grisha, who are like all these like people with abilities, and there she meets the Darkling, and she's like training with the Darkling in order to kind of defeat this thing called the Shadowfold and save the world, I guess. This was really hard to explain, really confusing to explain, but I really enjoyed this. I'm trying to get through all of these books now that the Netflix series is coming out in 2020. We don't have a specific date yet, but 2020 has been the year that's announced, and I'm really excited. Like I mentioned in my end of the year TBR, Ben Barnes plays the Darkling, and I'm so excited to see that because I love Ben Barnes. So that is definitely like a driving force of the many driving forces that are compelling me to finish this series, because I am so determined to finish all these books before Shadow and Bone comes out on Netflix. And I'm really excited to get to know all these characters that I hear so many people talk about. Like, I really like Alina. She's kind of a basic 2012 YA heroine, but again, I'm a sucker for that, so I really like Alina. The Darkling is the Darkling, but a few of the other characters I am learning to really like, and I'm actually really excited to get to Six of Crows because I know so many people love the characters in that series. So just got 2 more of these to go, and then that is definitely high on my priority list. All right, and the last book has been the first book I've listened to on audiobook in so long, and it is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I know is like, it's so beloved, such a good book. I highly recommend listening to it on audiobook because there is a full cast of characters Like Judy Greer voices one of the characters. If you don't know who she is, I guess the most mainstream thing I can say she's been in is she is Scott Lang's ex-wife in Ant-Man. So it was really kind of cool to see, or I guess to hear her voice in a book. This is a story following the like most beloved rock band in the 70s and 80s, Daisy Jones and the Six. It is told as an autobiography full of just strictly interviews and how they like rose to fame, their story as a band, and eventually why they broke up. And it was really interesting to see like how everything kind of played a factor in what led to the downfall of this band. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. The experience on audiobook was absolutely wonderful, and I would give the performance like a 10 out of 5 stars. That was so good. But with the story, just kind of personal preference, I really didn't like a few of the characters, and so kind of hearing them, I was like, they're not my favorites. But a few of the characters I really did enjoy, and so again, 4 out of 5 stars, but it was like a solid, like a higher 4 out of 5 stars. It was great. All right, and there you have it, guys. That was my October wrap up. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please comment down below what your favorite book that you read that the month of October was. If I had to pick one, I might say The Trials of Apollo, just because like I have been waiting so long to read it and it really did not disappoint. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel down below if you haven't already, and be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I upload every Monday and every Thursday on this channel. It's a good time and you should be here so you don't miss out on what's to come. As always, thanks so much for watching and I hope to see you next time. Bye.